I know, sweetheart, I know.
I will muzzle him out in public, but I want him back. I will comply completely.
This is the story of Punky that we just showed you there. We had the story early in the week. Punky has been on death row for the last 2 years after biting someone. Punky's owner has been fighting to get the animal back, to get the animal potentially muzzled and out of the cage. And it's been working its way through the court system. We are joined by animal rights attorney Rebecca Breder. Rebecca, tell us about the importance of this case.
I can't stress the importance of this case and what it means for all dogs in British Columbia now. Essentially what it means is that if a dog gets into trouble, even a good dog, that dog can no longer, there will be very, very little chance that that dog will be able to get released back to the owner or to anyone else.
So how has that changed? Like, why has this become different than how it was viewed in the past? In the past,
a dog that was considered dangerous, and let's just be clear, there have been many cases, and those that I've been involved in for sure, where the dog is deemed, quote, dangerous under the law. But this is a dog that maybe played and got into some trouble. But either way, not like this inherently cruel, vicious animal. And in the past, just because a dog was deemed dangerous, it didn't mean that the dog had to be killed. Judges have ordered the dogs to be released on conditions. Now what this case says, the highest court has said that dogs cannot be released on conditions. So case law and cases that I've been involved in for 10, 15 years, all of that is out the window now. And yes.
So what you're saying is because they have taken this case to the highest court, it's affected how other animal rights decisions were or will be viewed in the future?
Well, what this case means is that this case is much more about Punky right now. And I feel terrible for Punky's owner and for Punky himself. But what it means now is all future dogs that may get into trouble, the court will now no longer allow the dog to be released on condition. So what does that mean? It means either an automatic death sentence or some very creative backroom negotiations with the prosecutor. Or it does mean also a fight in court.
So in the past, at the lower court levels, there was a little more leeway.
That's right. There was a lot more leeway because in the lower courts, and I've been involved in these cases, they have said, okay, well, if a dog is deemed dangerous, let's see what we could do. But that was assuming the courts had the right to do that. And one of my cases in 2013 set a precedent that allowed courts to do exactly that, release dogs on conditions. But it never went to the highest court. And I understand that the city wanted to argue that point about whether courts are even allowed doing that. And that's what they did. And that's why I warned about this case ever since I found out.
And you had involvement with this case, and you did have an opportunity to speak with both parties.
Yes, and I was counsel for the BCSPCA and RAPS and Huggable in this case as an intervener, and basically trying to intervene only on the question, on the legal issue of can courts do this? And the court didn't agree with that at all. It wasn't our case really to win or lose, but it was just so unfortunate. And so what dog owners really need to know right now is that if their dog bites or if their dog gets into trouble, be sure to call an attorney who knows what they're doing, who has a successful success rate in the past, track record. And if you can't afford one, make sure you also speak to a dog trainer, to an animal behaviorist who can help you with the case. It is so, so important.
Amazing point to wrap up on. Thanks so much. We really appreciate the insight. Coming up, we will